Good morning. Today's our weekly update briefing, and we continue to operate in accordance with all the federal, state, and FEMA, the Department of Health guidelines and local directives as we address this pandemic. Since as of yesterday, we have 353 positive cases of COVID in the parish. That's an increase of 29 since our last briefing, and unfortunately we have had two more deaths. We're at 24 deaths within the parish. The federal governor's guidelines have been met, as you know, for us to enter into phase one, which we are now, and it's going well. But we anticipate the governor will announce on June the 1st what his probably will be in his proclamation, which will be issued on June the 5th. We're shooting towards that goal of going to phase two on that date, but we won't be able to do that unless all of us keep doing what we should be doing and in accordance with the directives. For the most part, our citizens have been very responsive, complying with the mask and spatial distancing, but unfortunately, too many aren't. And if we don't do these things, we're not going to be able to keep on that positive track, meeting the criteria to gate from phase one into phase two. So we've all got an individual responsibility to ensure that we keep doing these things that keeps the spread of this disease to low as feasible and also to minimize the impact on our businesses. The types of businesses which have been approved to open, we mentioned last week, but I might mention two or three things that have happened since then that would be of interest. Unfortunately, one of our casinos has decided they don't have the fiscal wherewithal to reopen, so Diamond Jack's Casino will not be opening, and unfortunately that will be a loss of a lot of jobs, which is regrettable, but that's the nature of the beast. Also, we put out this week that all the city parks that have walking trails are open. Well, all city parks are open, and people are encouraged to use the walking trails, but the use of the children's playground equipment and the basketball goals is prohibited. But we encourage people to get out and enjoy their parks and walk or jog, but should not use the children's play equipment and the basketball courts. I also want to make sure that everyone understands our Civic Center is available and open, and we encourage people who have been postponing considering our venue to take another look at it. We're wide open for business and would entertain your requests. The businesses that were directed to remain closed have not changed. I would only say that the Office of the State Fire Marshal is a great place for businesses to contact. First of all, to register to reopen, which is not mandatory in some cases, but highly recommended. And we encourage you to contact them at the website opensafely.louisiana.gov. A lot of the restrictions on opening the business limit the participation to not more than 25% of the facility approved occupancy. And so the state fire marshal can assist businesses with all the details of what that entails. And also our local fire department will be glad to assist in case you have a question. So you can contact our city fire department, but we recommend the state fire marshal's office for that information. Business and church employees who interface with the public should wear face masks. As I mentioned earlier, we're looking at June the 1st to see an update from the governor, and we'll see how that goes. All our employees are back to work, and the access to City Hall is wide open, but we've done several things to protect our citizens and our employees. The citizens can enter the municipal complex of City Hall on the north side of the Beckett Street side of the facility. We'll have people there checking you in and assisting you to get where you need to go, and safely with minimum contact. City employees' temperatures will be checked each and every day, each and every person. We've got our facilities configured with markings on the floor, signage, and sanitation and other things available to facilitate the control of spread of this virus. We urge the citizens to make appointments here in the city, and you can get our phone numbers for these departments at our city website, which is www.bossiercity.org. And though it's not required in all instances, we do suggest people continue to wear face masks. So in closing, ladies and gentlemen, we are in the middle of phase two. It is just imperative that we all continue to do our individual responsibilities if we're going to achieve phase two and don't regress. The things that we keep hearing about can't be said too often. The washing of the hands, the using the sanitation that's provided, the sneezing or coughing into your elbow, wear a face mask when in public or in mass transits. When you're sick, feel sick, stay home and follow the guidance of your medical professionals. Many of us, I think, are facing what's been called quarantine fatigue, and we're all anxious to get out and about, and that's very normal. But again, I can't stress how important it is that we continue our individual responsibilities. If we are to get to phase two, we all have a role to play in protecting ourselves and our neighbors. It's imperative for the wellness of our people, but it's also imperative to get our businesses started up and operating. So our next scheduled briefing will be next Thursday, May the 28th, and I thank all of you, and particularly our first responders, who've done such a tremendous job as we work this pandemic, this tragedy that's upon us. We will come out of this, but only if all of us get involved and do what we should do. Thank you.
Again, I'd like to start off by thanking the first responders and all the people on the front line fighting this pandemic. With the fire department, we're business as usual, run volumes picking up. Hospitalization for COVID patients, from what I heard yesterday, seem to be dropping in the area. Still transporting all our normal calls, going to the area hospitals, as I said. We put in place temperature checks at all divisions, got sneeze glass up, got 6-foot markers down, everything. They're cleaning with the bleach solution outside, benches, doors. Everybody is headed in the right direction with all that. And the other thing is the Civic Center. We are open for business at 25% occupant load. I worked with the Fred over the Civic Center, got that lined out of what that number would be. I know I've talked with some potential deals coming to the Civic Center in June and possibly July, and I know Fred has also talked with the gun show people about how that looks and to be able to open that. And we have the temperature scanners that came in, and we did our trial run in the council chambers, that it would be an unmanned station that would, in events like this, we could do the temp check and not be tied up with someone on your forehead with a non-contact temp gun. This is 2 stands that these things go on.
Morning, Mayor. Thank you, citizens of Bossier. Once again, I want to thank the first responders and the medical personnel for being on the front line, and thank the citizens for continuing to adhere to the governor's and the president's orders. Also, I'd like to remind individuals, if they feel like they're being a victim or being contacted in reference to a scam, they should call our non-emergency number, which is 741-8605. Also, I would like to remind people to report any suspicious activity, whether they think it might be minor or not. We ask you to report it. You can also use that same number, 741-8605. And if you have any what you believe to be suspicious or criminal activity that you might capture on your personal home security systems such as Ring and such as that. We realize people are sharing that on social media, but we'd also like for you to contact the police department because we don't go through and search people's or neighborhood social medias for criminal activity. So if you would, please report that to us as well. We encourage you to put it up on your social media, but we also encourage you to report it to us because if you don't report it to us, we can't act on it. So once again, we thank you for your patience, and we ask you to continue your due diligence in adhering to the governor's and the president's orders. Thank you.